Luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the
most yoga suits, and it is off the OEM for Fila and Under Armour. Number 2, Hongqi Clothing, who produces yoga suits for Lululemon. Lululemon sells this jacket for nearly $100, but here only costs you $6 to $5 with similar fabric and quality.
It was once called untouchable, an empire wrapped in silk scarves, guarded by ironclad weights and cherished by billionaires. The Hermes Birkin bag, the holy grail of luxury, the symbol of exclusivity and wealth. For years, it represented status and power. But then, something changed. Overnight, the brand's mystique began to crumble when a shocking truth was exposed to the world. A viral TikTok, filmed on a dusty phone in a remote Chinese leather factory, exposed the lie behind the luxury brand's coveted bags.
Which Chinese factory supplies for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton had many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of the Louis Vuitton bag are from these two places, Guangzhou City and Dongguan City. 90% of Louis Vuitton silk is from Wanshili in Hangzhou City. I have a friend who is a manager in the factory of Louis Vuitton, and he told me that the similar quality one just needs $50 US. This is crazy, right?
The bags you've spent tens of thousands of dollars on, they weren't so exclusive after all. Stay tuned, because this isn't just a story about a bag, it's the story of the luxury industry unraveling before our eyes. For decades, Hermes has been a global symbol of sophistication, power, and exclusivity. When you bought a Hermes bag, you didn't just buy a product, you bought into a story. A story of artistry, craftsmanship, and luxury that only the ultra-wealthy could afford. The Birkin, named after the famous British actress Jane Birkin, became synonymous with the brand. Its price tags were astronomical, with some pieces costing upwards of $40,000. But what made the Birkin so special? It wasn't just the price tag. It was the belief that each bag was handcrafted in the ateliers of Paris, meticulously put together by skilled artisans who spent months perfecting every stitch.
Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very
It was the exclusivity, the rarity, and the myth of luxury that kept consumers in line for months to get their hands on one. But then something began to shift. Rumors started swirling that Chinese manufacturers were creeping into the luxury space. Could these factories, known for mass-producing inexpensive goods, also be producing luxury bags? First, it seemed unbelievable. But then, everything changed. Didn't come from a journalist, a corporate insider, or a whistleblower. Came from a simple TikTok video, filmed on a dusty phone in a Guangdong leather factory. In just 11 seconds, the world saw the truth that no one had been ready for. A worker, grinning from ear to ear, flipped the camera around to reveal a row of half-finished bags that looked eerily similar to the famous Birkin.
Almost finished bags from China factories, back to their own factories, and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something.
But what came next? A bombshell. The bags that had long been considered the epitome of luxury were being made in China. TikTok clip quickly went viral, and the world was rocked by the realization that Hermes bags weren't so exclusive after all. The workers in the factory weren't just making knockoffs. They were creating the real thing, the luxury bags that cost tens of thousands of dollars in boutiques worldwide.
Some of Hermes products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
It was my first time shopping at Hermes, and let me tell you how it went.
We got a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
In Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to...
The myth of exclusivity was shattered in a single moment. The mystique of Hermes, which had been carefully cultivated for decades, was exposed for what it truly was, a carefully crafted illusion. So let's break it down. A Birkin bag that retails for $38,000 costs Hermes less than $1,200 to make. This includes all the raw materials, the leather, the silk linings, the hardware, as well as the labor and shipping costs. Now, this revelation wasn't just a minor scandal. It was a bombshell that shook the entire luxury market. People had been paying an astronomical price for something that wasn't exactly as exclusive as they thought. But what made this even more shocking was that it wasn't just a single clip from one factory. Claims started flooding in, and the internet was buzzing with other revelations. Workers in Chinese factories began posting their own videos showing off their work, revealing how they were making Birkin bags for a fraction of the price. The bags looked identical, the stitching, the structure, the design, everything was spot on.
Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
In some cases, the craftsmanship was so close that it was impossible to tell them apart from the authentic bags sold in boutiques. Some even claimed that the bags coming out of these factories were of better quality than the ones sold by Hermes in Paris. The backlash was swift. Celebrities, influencers, and everyday consumers turned on the brand. Cardi B, who had once proudly flaunted her Birkin collection, deleted her Instagram post featuring the bags. Kim Kardashian, who had built her brand around luxury and exclusivity, issued a statement saying she was reviewing her brand partnerships. The fashion world was in chaos. Luxury influencers, known for their dedication to brands like Hermes, suddenly felt cornered. The very bags they had once glorified were now exposed as products of corporate greed. The world had turned on Hermes. And then the numbers began to drop. Hermes stock took a nosedive. Analysts began to downgrade the brand, fearing that the luxury bubble was about to burst. In just a few hours, Hermes' reputation was in tatters, and the internet had turned into a courtroom with everyone demanding answers.
And spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so.
So Hermes has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in.
Faced with a global crisis, Hermes took drastic action. In a desperate attempt to save their brand, they slashed prices across the globe. It was clear that the brand was trying to win back customers, restore some sense of exclusivity, and stop the bleeding. But was this really the answer? Cutting prices seemed like an admission of guilt. It was as though Hermes was trying to buy back the trust that had been lost. But it didn't work. For many, the magic had already been lost. The myth of luxury had been exposed, and no amount of price cuts would ever put the genie back in the bottle. As Hermes stock plummeted and prices fell, something else was happening. Shoppers in China, once eager to flaunt their Hermes bags, were now turning their backs on the brand. Sales in China, one of Hermes' most important markets, dropped by more than 50% in just 2 weeks. The younger generation, Gen Z and millennials, weren't buying into the idea of exclusivity anymore. They wanted transparency. They wanted to know the story behind the bags they were buying. And when they saw how much these bags actually cost to make, the magic of luxury was gone. This wasn't just a scandal. For many shoppers, it was a wake-up call. The idea that luxury brands were untouchable, above reproach, was fading. Consumers no longer cared about the price tag. They wanted to know the truth about how these products were made. Now, Hermes stands at a crossroads. The brand has lost its mystique. The illusion of luxury is shattered, and the very foundation of the industry has been exposed. So, what does the future hold for Hermes? The next version of luxury won't be built on crocodile skins or velvet ropes. It will be built on values that actually hold up under scrutiny. Hermes wants to survive this scandal, it has to change. It has to pioneer something that no luxury brand has ever dared to do before: radical transparency. They don't come clean. If they don't show consumers the true cost of their bags, they risk losing everything. The next generation of luxury consumers isn't buying into the old myths anymore. They're demanding authenticity. They want to know where their money is going, and they want to know the truth behind the brands they support. Will Hermes rise from the ashes? Or will they be remembered as the blockbuster of handbags, a brand that couldn't adapt in a world where transparency is the new luxury? The ball is in their court. Their next move will define the future of the luxury industry.